Okay guys, so I just hopped out the shower. I feel great. I feel rejuvenated. I feel refreshed. I did a couple things off camera because like I said, we are on a mission today. We have things we gotta do. We have places we gotta see. We got people we need to meet. So I went ahead and did my skincare. I brushed my teeth, and then I went ahead and did my dermaplaning. I did my eyebrows, all that good stuff. For products, I went ahead and washed my face with the regular skincare. You know what it is, CeraVe. It is the oil to foaming cleanser for the first go, and then after that, after the dermaplaning, I use a La Roche-Posay, period, every single time. And then for some people have asked me what dermaplaning oil I use. I'm gonna be so for real with y'all. I use this oil that this influencer actually creates. She's a local influencer in my area. Her name's Kbu. She has her own like skincare line and everything, and I love it. It actually works really well for my face, and it's a really nice dermaplaning oil. I don't think that's what it's supposed to be used for, in all honesty, but like that's what I use it for, and it's great, and it smells like blueberries, and I like it. So I'll DM her and try to find it for you guys. But yeah, I love it. If I can find it, maybe in this video or in another video, I'll try to link it, and I'll do like a whole in-depth skincare routine with y'all. But it's the oil, it's like the only oil that I've used that hasn't irritated my face like while shaving, and it doesn't cost like $1 million, so that's great. My go-to for moisturizers, guys, I have not switched up in almost a year. I don't think I'm gonna switch up ever, to be honest. It's Vanny Cream. It's Vanny Cream. And am I like kind of like shook that Jeremiah from Love Island uses the exact same moisturizer as me? I don't know. It's kind of a green flag though. From a red flag man, it's a green flag. So I use Vanny Cream. This is my tried and true. I absolutely love this product for the night, for the morning, everything. Living in Colorado, this has saved my skin. Like I can feel when this works. Like every single time I put this on and my skin is dry, I know like, oh, feels so good. Absolutely love this product. Now we're gonna go ahead and get into the hair and get into all the good stuff. I'm gonna blow dry my hair. The products that I'm using to blow dry are and okay, everybody's silk press is different. Disclaimer, everybody does their silk press different. The products that I use may not be the products that you use or that you have readily available. So this is just how I do it. I'm just doing what works best on my hair in the climate that I live in. Thank you. So I'm gonna be using Milani, please let me know. I need to figure out how to say these. Rosemary Mint Strengthening Leave-In Conditioner. I'm not using all of this. I'm literally using the smallest little bit in some sections. And then I'm gonna mix it with the Milani Avocado and, oh my God, Tamoon Blend Anti-Frizz Stay Straight Serum, up to 450 heat protectant. I have really enjoyed using this product. I've been using this product for almost, we'll say, 3-4 months now. 3-4 months now. It goes a long way. I'm gonna say it's an oil, so it goes a long way. I really like it. So be careful when you use it, because if you use a lot, then your hair may look weighed down. I did notice that the first time I used it, but after like adjusting for my hair type, it was all good. So I'm gonna go ahead and start blow drying my hair, and yeah. Okay, so one day we're gonna get this setup like figured out, no lie, but I still don't really know what to do with this corner of my bedroom. I had this moment where I was like, am I gonna like redo everything? Am I going through a moment where I want to like reorganize my whole bedroom and do like a whole new bedroom set? And I changed out the dresser from the guest room to the main room, like the main bedroom, and then I don't know if I really like it, so I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. Okay, so right now I'm just separating my hair into a couple different sections, so that way it's easier for me to press. The iron that I'm using is the Paul Mitchell's Pro Tools, and this is the one that I got when I was in esthetician school or cosmetology school, to be honest. Let's talk about it. Let's kind of talk about this. So we are discussing toxic friendships, right? And I want to tell you guys, kind of do like a little story time of the time that I left a toxic friendship. A couple toxic friendships, actually. And these are from high school friendships. These are in my 20s, like all the way up to like honestly like my late 20s, like some things I've recently realized as well. So sit back, grab your little drinky drink, and we're gonna get into it. My drink today is pure cranberry juice, honey, and seltzer water. I'm gonna use a couple different examples in my own life, but I may just say friend. But this kind of goes over all friendships, all toxic friendships that I've had, and I've had a couple different ones. So we're gonna get into it. So, but if I just say friend, I don't want you to think that it's like one singular person. It's like a multitude of people. We're just using friend loosely. This is kind of like the story of how I needed to leave a toxic friendship, but I really didn't want to. One, because I was super hopeful. Honestly, I was always like really hopeful that they would change, that they would grow up, that they would grow out of this phase that they were in. And that never really happened. And I kind of kept myself in situations that weren't best suited for me or my safety or my mental health or my nervous system. They just weren't good for me. And I stayed in these situations just in hopes that somebody would pick me, that they would finally be like, hey, I see you. I finally, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I should have seen this all along, and I can't believe I didn't see the value in you and all these things, right? So that's kind of like where this is starting. And the thing is too, it's like, it wasn't a friendship where I was like, oh, I really don't care about you. No, like I saw all these people in my life forever. Like I really in the moment was like, no, like I could see you in my life when I get old. I could see us in the nursing home together. I could see you, being the godfather to my child if I ended up having a child. Like it was really like kind of like that level of friendship. Like, it wasn't something that was just like, oh, I met you that summer and we're that close and things like that. No, like these were people that I really thought were always going to be in my life. So to have to choose to step away from that and to not know if anything better was gonna, like, obviously, like, God is with us always, and God always has a plan. And when you read the Bible and you go through certain trials and tribulations, you kind of start to see that what you may think is the best thing for you, God has something even better for you. And it's hard to let go of that thing that you think is so great because it's the only thing you've ever had, when God has something so much better for you. But you have to go through the phase of that, getting it and everything. So one thing that I can really say that I learned in all of that, and before we really get into it, is the most loving thing that you can do sometimes is let people go. And we're going to talk about it, and we're going to kind of get into it deeper. But sometimes you do need to say goodbye to people and give them space, either for them to grow, for you to grow, maybe both. I've had experiences with certain friends where we really did have to like leave each other for a season and come back to each other and both grow. And I really had this experience recently with one of my friends where I had to apologize. I was in the wrong, and I was like, I am so sorry that I put other people above you when you constantly were reassuring me. You were constantly there for me. You were always the person rooting for me louder than anybody else, and I should have realized that instead of paying attention to the people that weren't cheering at all. and being like, why aren't you cheering? Let me, what do I need to do more? What do I need to do more? You loved me for me. Before the content, before anything, before, like, they really loved me for me, and I kept pushing them away and kept just like wanting reassurance from somebody that obviously didn't want me or care for me or have enough space for me. So that was something that I had to learn. I look crazy right now. That I had to learn, and it took years. Like this is a real time realization. Like in this last like month and a half or so, like I've had to apologize and say, hey, I'm sorry. I messed up. I fucked up. I didn't see that I was doing this. I didn't see that I was not seeing you and not valuing you to your full worthiness. And like, that's just on becoming a better friend and growing and everything. So, sorry, that was like so out of here. That wasn't even a bullet point, but I want to talk about when I had to start setting my own boundaries. Now, this was huge, and this really happened when I stopped partying. So I have had a life. I will have to get into it one day. Setting boundaries. And this, I think, happened a lot when I stopped drinking and I stopped partying. And I was very dibble-dabble in the party scene back in my early 20s. Like when I was like 21 to 24, 25, I dabbled in, like, if you know, you know, and that was something that I really like was truly having an addiction to, and I had to deal with that. And I think also it didn't help that at the time my boyfriend was heavily an addict too. Like he was secretly doing heroin behind my back. We were constantly doing like lines together. We were constantly buying like 8 balls. Like it wasn't some little like, you know, nothing. And we were doing that constantly, like Thursday through Monday. And when I decided, and this was a toxic relationship. And I had toxic friends during this time. Like my friends were trying to convince me that it was okay that they had slept with my boyfriend at the time. And I'm gonna be honest, looking back on it, my boyfriend at the time was no prize. So like the fact that people were like lining up to like sleep with him and cheat with, like, these were people that I was calling my friends, that I was giving rides to, that I was loaning money to. Like, these were people that I was buying their drinks, buying their drugs for them. Like, crazy stuff. Crazy. So I ended up moving, right? And long story short, I ended up moving to Colorado, and a lot of my party friends, when I moved, obviously didn't move with me. So I was like, oh, this is perfect, Well, I wasn't out of the party phase, so I made party friends here. And when I made party friends here, it was a lot different because I realized, oh, it's me. I have to choose to walk away from this. Like, if I don't change, I'm going to be the same person that I was in Illinois, and it's going to be just as bad. I'm going to end up dating the exact same person. So I went through a lot. I went through a lot of other toxic relationships. And then I kind of like was like, okay, I need to get out of this. And COVID happened. COVID was horrible for me. I was partying, I was drinking, I was smoking weed, like every single day, hella weed, hella drugs, hella like it was like a party 24/7 for me. Like, I did not use COVID to my advantage like other people did. I wish I could. Like, now I'm like, dang, like I don't want another COVID to happen, but like I would love to have COVID time. just that freedom and that time to be able to do things, like, I wish I would have used it to my advantage. But here nor there. Everything happens for a reason. So I was partying and everything, and it came to the point where, like, the protests were happening, and I don't know what it was, but I felt so drawn to the protests. Like, I really wanted to go to them. I didn't know anybody that would go with me, so I just, like, didn't go. Like, I went downtown and I went to go read in a park that I've never been to. Like, I got this weird urge where I was like, I really want to go downtown. I want to see what these protests are about, like, all this stuff. This was also the time that I started leaving my party friends because, like, I was like, bro, I can't keep doing this. Like, I'm doing so many snowballs. I'm doing so many snowballs that, like, I can't even see straight anymore. So when the protest, we're just gonna fast forward. So the protest happened, everything. I had to leave toxic friends. I had to set boundaries. That's where we are. Boundaries. So I had to set these boundaries, and a lot of people didn't like it. And I had boundaries on my 2020 to 2022. Oh, my boundaries were crazy. You couldn't say shit around me. You couldn't do weird shit around me. My boundaries from 2020 to 2022 were wild. And it was really because, like, of being in isolation, learning what, like, toxic behavior was, seeing, like, all the people, like, that didn't understand what human rights were with George Floyd, and understanding, like, he's innocent until proven guilty, like, that people really, like, thought they were God out here and were okay. Like, when people started saying that they were okay with what happened with George Floyd, if you still think what happened to George Floyd was okay, please unsubscribe, because, like, I'm just not here for it. Like, I don't have time for that, and that's not, like, no. So I had to stand on a lot of boundaries in my family and my friendships. Like, I lost a lot of friends from my hometown that I grew up with, childhood friends that I grew up with, that didn't think that it was right, that only saw the propaganda of certain things that were being pushed about him. Like, the fact that they didn't see him as a human being was very upsetting to me. And at the same time that I was losing my childhood friends back home, because they were like, oh, well, we don't care that you're black, but other black people suck. Like, you're the non-threatening black girl. And I was just like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, do you realize how it was a thing? It was a whole thing. So that happened to me in 2020 and all the way up to, like, 2021. And then at the same time, I was trying to move away from partying and drinking and going out to the bar and that club life. So I was losing friends because I wasn't doing drugs. So I didn't have my drug friends. I didn't have, like, the friends that I would FaceTime with all the time. So I was extremely lonely. Like, it was hard. It was really hard. I felt, because at the time my boyfriend too, like, didn't understand it. Like, I was going through so much, and I was trying to explain to him, like he was like, I get stopped by the cops too. And I was like, but you are, like, white passing. Like, you are white passing. Like, you are Chicano, but you have white skin, like lily white skin, and you have blue, like, bright blue eyes. Like, it was just so different. And it was like, he couldn't see me in a way that I needed him to see me. And I was like, what would happen if we had children? Like, how do you not see this? Like, and it was just something that, like, I couldn't be around. So, like, I was losing friends and relationships left and right. I was super lonely in my life. And this is also how I think I ended up with a narcissist, dating a narcissist at this time as well, because I was super alone. I was just like, wow, like, I don't have any of these friendships, maybe, like, standing. And this is when it gets hard. When you start to cut these people off and you're like, no, I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not going to do this. No, you can't say that to me. No, if I say this, this is what I mean. Like, you're not going to, like, I went through this whole thing of standing on boundaries. But then when the smoke clears, there's this moment where people will be like, oh, you're asking for too much, or that's not realistic. And also you realize you're alone. And this is where I feel like the enemy tries to like be like, see, you are too much. They were right. Nobody wants to be around you. And that's what I went through. It was really, really hard. And at this time I was heavy still smoking weed. Drinking was like pretty still significant, but like not as much, not with cocaine use. I wasn't doing like blow like that. And okay. Ooh. Hold on, it got a little hot there for a second. Okay, sorry, it got a little hot there for a second. I got nervous. Okay, so I started setting boundaries and people were getting pissed and I started feeling lonely, right? So after I felt lonely, I got into this toxic relationship. I definitely got into this toxic relationship, but I was also giving out toxic at the same time. Like I was trying to like stand on these boundaries, but I didn't know how to do it in a healthy way. And I didn't really have anybody to navigate it with as well, because all the people in my life were leaving because I wasn't partying with them. I wasn't doing blow anymore with them, or I wasn't here for their racist and homophobic agenda. So like I didn't have anybody to really deal with that with. So I ended up getting into this relationship, and this is where basically I realized that I felt drained every single time I was with this person. And I don't know how we ended up staying together so long, to be honest. I really don't. I felt completely drained. I felt like anytime I hung out with this person, I was like, damn, I feel exhausted. I don't feel good about myself. Like, I don't feel like I'm smart. I don't feel like I'm educated enough. I don't feel like I'm black enough. Was a huge feeling that I had when I was in this relationship, when I was with this person. And I was in such a vulnerable state with my identity as a biracial person that I felt very, looking back on it, I feel like I was very forced and molded to be a certain type of black that fit the aesthetic of this person that I was dating. And then there was also a friendship that was around this same time that I also felt like I was being forced to fit a certain, this is what my black friend looks like. This is what the girls that I hang out look like. And that's never been me. That's never, you know. So I really just felt drained after being with these people. And I just felt like, dang, I feel like I need to be away from these people in order to be myself. I felt that like if I wasn't myself, like if I didn't put on a show, if I didn't have weed, if I didn't have, and this is the thing, if I didn't have multiple different things of weed, if I didn't have alcohol to give to them, if I wasn't down to like have sex, like I felt like I was gonna lose these people. I felt like I was gonna lose my relationship, and I was gonna lose the only friend that I had at the time. And I look crazy. And I think that really put me in this fight or flight response of, well, I need to stay. I need to stay. I want to stay. I need to do anything that they think is cool. Like I'm gonna think is cool. Anything that they say is lame, I'm gonna say is lame. Like whatever they believe, I believe. And I really started changing the person that I was, the morals that I had, the thoughts that I had. And this is where like I really left some of the people that really cared about me. And basically like thought they were evil. I didn't want to talk to them anymore. And this is like when I should have realized that I wasn't me. And this can be kind of hard too. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to help you sweet peas navigate this time because I didn't have anybody to help me navigate it. And there was so, like, if I would have had somebody to be able to be like, hey, you just lost a ton of people, but you still have this one person who has been there for you, and these new people really aren't like cheering you on, they're cheering for your downfall. And I need you to see that instead of attacking this person that's like, hey, maybe this is a different lens that you should see this through. Instead of choosing the people that are only seeing it through the exact same lens at the exact same way that I am, like, I should have chose to look at somebody that I trusted, that I knew I could trust, to be like, hey, I'm trying to pull you out the deep end. And I didn't. I cut my lifeboat. I literally said, fuck you, I don't want the lifeboat. And we didn't talk for a year. And I'm very lucky that, like, God has brought us back together. And she's one of my, like, closest friends today. But I had to, like, go back and, like, really, like, be like, dang, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I chose these people. So that is, like, one big thing that you can also, like, really tell is if you feel drained after hanging out with them. So I would feel drained all the time in both relationships, feeling like I couldn't be myself, feeling like I had to, like, play a part, like, really, of somebody who I wasn't. So this went on for a while. The relationship went on for probably a year and a half, living together, doing life together, like, you know, like, doing life together and everything. And we fought all the time. It got so bad, like, it would, like, get physical, like, it would really, like, get to the point where we were putting hands on each other, and it just, like, it needed to end. It was so toxic, and I, to this day, hope that he's doing well, truly. But yeah, it was rough. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and section out this part, and then I'll be right back. So basically, that relationship ended, but the friendship kept going. And this is important because we went through a lot of things together, and in this friendship, like, we really did life together. Like, we both had toxic relationships. She was somebody that, like, I really confided in during this time as well. So, like, and this was, like, my only friend. Like I said, I'd lost all my hometown friends. Like, my one hometown friend was in a toxic relationship, and she was going through, like, her other stuff, and she was, like, honestly on the fence about a lot of the things that happened to George Floyd. She really didn't understand it. And it was something that, honestly, looking back on it now, as much as I love her, I don't think we would be, like, I don't know. But it was hard. So this person was, like, the only person that I had in my life. We were hanging out every single day, living together. Like, it was a lot. There was a time where I would make excuses for people on the way that they treated me. Oh, you know, she's just, like, she's going through a really hard time right now. She had a fight with her boyfriend. Like, that's why, you know, she, like, just can't be excited for me in this moment, you know? Or, oh, like, it's okay, she forgot my birthday. Like, you know, she has a lot going on, you know? Or, oh, like, she didn't mean to sleep with the guy that she knew I liked or was attracted to. Like, when she had a boyfriend, no, like, that wasn't to hurt me. Like, she's going through her own stuff right now. Like, their relationship is, you know, I was making excuses for so much. I was making excuses while holding my own box of tissues, and then somebody being like, your crying is too much. Like, I would be told, like, it's not that deep. And now, disclaimer, there are some things that are truly not that deep, right? But if you're my friend and I'm your friend, and this is the first time that I'm coming to you with this, and I'm crying, and you see that I'm emotional and I'm really, like, going through it, like, maybe it is that deep. Maybe it's that deep to me, And maybe as my friend, like, you should be there and not just be judging me and making me feel small and making me feel like my emotions are invalid and that it doesn't make sense and that X, Y, and Z. Like, there are certain things that were just not okay looking back on it. Okay, hold on. Let me section this part out too, and then we'll come right back. Yeah, there was just a lot of excuses being made, so I had to stop making excuses for this person on how they were treating me. And once I started doing that, I was like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that when I send you I'll send you encouraging text messages, but there's nothing in return. Like, I don't feel equally yoked. Like, that's really what it is. And like saying that like, God isn't going to call you to something where you have to shrink. I'm gonna say it again in case you didn't hear it and you didn't want to reverse it and play it back. God is not going to call you to something that makes you feel less than, that you have to shrink yourself for. If you're too much for them, they're too less for you. They're not enough for you. Go find more. Tell them, if they say they're too much for you, tell them to go find less. Because baby, that is not a space that you need to be in. Like, it's not. Like, there are so many times where, like, we see even in Jesus' story where, like, he was told, like, he wasn't enough. He was told in his own hometown that he wasn't enough, that he wasn't who he said he was. And he literally left. He left. There's so many stories in the Bible where we see people are not valued where they are and they leave. Do they come back? Yes, but they leave. So there's so many times where I was like, okay, like, if I'm not meant to be here, I'm not meant to be here. And the thing is, God will literally give you so many opportunities to leave on your own. Ooh, this is a real story time. Okay, so God will give you every opportunity to leave a relationship, right? But sometimes it's not the way that you think it is, or it's not the way you want it to be. But that doesn't mean that it still wasn't an out. So I had multiple chances to leave this friendship before now. And there was a time where we had a huge argument. I remember having this huge argument with this person. And mind you, I'm on the way to go pick them up to hang out. Like, we're having this argument while I'm on the way to go hang out with them. So I'm just very confused by the start of it. And this is where I realized this person does not care about my needs and feels that I need to put their needs above my own. Red flag, right? So I'm on the way to pick this person up and I tell them, I'm like, hey, I need to go switch my laundry before I come over. Like, I need to make sure that my clothes are in the dryer, right? I think I have, we're gonna talk about it later. That's a therapy moment. That's a podcast moment. Anyway, so I'm on the way to, like, my house, right? Now tell me, like, also in context, my house at the time where I was living was not far from where they were at. It was maybe like a 10-minute, 15-minute drive, if that. And they were like, okay, well, I'm doing my laundry. And I'm like, okay. And they were like, well, I'm at the laundromat. I'm like, okay. And what I really think it was that they thought that I was going to come see them first. So that way they could go and, like, use my car to, like, empty out their laundry or whatever. Or they wanted my help, like, taking up their laundry, which was fine, but they didn't say that. That was not issued in any of the conversation. So I go and we're on the phone and I tell him, like, hey, I need to switch my laundry, right? Because I don't want to have to wash it again. I don't want to have to wash my laundry again. And they got upset with me, like, really got upset with me and said how, like, I was a bad friend, how I wasn't there to support them, how, you know, like, they didn't want to be friends with me anymore, how this was ridiculous, how I'm always choosing myself and never willing to put any time in for that. I was so confused because all I asked was, hey, is it cool if I go switch my laundry first? And I'm still like, even now, I'm still highly confused by this. But like red flag moments, like those moments where like it just didn't make any sense. And I was like, I'm literally just trying to better myself in washing my clothes. Like, and you want to come at me, and I'm just very confused by this. I'm just very, very confused by this. Sometimes if I want to get really close to it, I'll put the comb behind the flat iron and then do like a pull through method. And I think it gets it so straight without having to use a hot comb on my edges, because girl, it's humid. I was telling my friend, I was like, there's no point in me pulling out a hot comb when I already know the roots are gonna be rooting, so they can keep on rootin' tootin'. Anyway, so that was just like kind of the experience with that. And then our friendship like ended, and we didn't talk for like a year because I wasn't gonna go back on my boundaries. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't know why. Like, I didn't know what I did. Like, I really didn't know what I did for so long. And like, we just like didn't talk. And like, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of things that I realized after the fact where I was like, you know what, I am kind of a self-centered person. I do kind of blame that on being an only child, that I'm very like me focused sometimes, and that's something like I've really had to work on. I've had to let other people talk, because having ADHD and mildly on the spectrum, like sometimes I'll interrupt people and I don't mean to, but it's like I want to be like, oh, I can relate to that because like I had this experience and you're telling me about your experience. So in my head, we're just having conversation. But some people view that as like interrupting all the time. So I've really had to like work on that and learn how to do that and like let people talk and let people finish and things like that. So that was something that I was like, okay, nope, I can see that. I can, you know, we really tried to, after like a year in some trauma, you know, I reached out to this person and wanted to reconcile the relationship. I had a friend very close to me pass away, which this person was extremely close to me. They were my best friend at the time. Like, we had gone through a lot. We didn't agree on a lot, and we were like fighting at the time too. Like, I had really nobody at this time when she had passed away. I was really working on myself. I was like, okay, like if I'm the problem, I'm the problem. But like, I was really going through it, and I just like, I had only had my wife at the time, and I felt bad. And I told her this all the time. I was like, I just feel bad because yes, you're my friend, but you're my wife. And I feel like you shouldn't have to fill in this friend role. And I don't feel like that's fair to you. Now, do I feel like this also made our relationship so much stronger in the end and gave us a very different perspective than a lot of people have in their marriage? Yes, but it wasn't the way that I wanted it to be. So we reconciled after my one hometown friend had passed away, and they ended up having like some trauma or like some shit that they were going through. And I was like, hey, it's okay. We're going to get through this together. Like, you know, and I think a lot of it was also a very emotional response of, I just lost this person. I don't want to lose this person in the same way. I would feel horrible if like something happened to this person and the last words that we said were horrible to each other. Like, the passing of my friend back home really messed me up, to be honest. Because we weren't on good terms. And I feel like that's the worst way for somebody to go, is you're on bad terms with them, or you had a bad conversation. Was like the last thing that you said to them. And ever since this person passed away, I've been very, very careful with how I end things with people. I've been very careful with things I say to people. Because you never know. And, like, I know, like, so many people will say that, and, like, I used to be one of those people that was like, yeah, okay, all my friends are gonna be old and gray, and we're gonna be living it up in the homeless, like, or not the homeless, in the old folks home. But sometimes that's not true. And I feel like some people have the unfortunate adult mindset, I guess, of realizing this at a very young age, which is very sad, and I'm very sorry to anybody who's had to experience that at a young age. Realizing that you may not grow old with all your friends, but it's a really shitty fucking feeling. And I don't wish it on anybody. It's like, it's the most painful thing that I've ever gone through, and I've broken my femur. And I would rather relive breaking my femur than having to relive the day that I found out my best friend fucking died. Like, I'm not gonna cry. Ooh, it's day 3 of my period, but I'm not gonna cry. But no, that shit was really shitty, and I feel like a lot of the emotion that I had, I didn't really deal with, and I poured it into this friendship that I had here that I was trying to remend, and I don't think I remended it on the mental mindset of wanting to remend it for that person, but I think I honestly, like, became friends with them again out of a guilt, and that wasn't fair for her, and it wasn't fair for me. And then we went through a lot of other stuff together, you know, like, she ended up living with me and my wife for a year because she was getting evicted out of her apartment. And, you know, we welcomed her into our home and everything, and living with somebody who, whenever they say I want to live with my best friend, oh, make sure you and that person are tight. Make sure you and that person are, like, equally yoked and, like, have the same kind of life, because, ooh, I've lived with 2 now. I've lived with 2 people that I've called my best friend, and I don't regret it. I'm very thankful for the first one because I would have been homeless at 18 without them. So I'm very thankful for her and her family, and, like, shout out to them every single time. And no matter how they voted, I'll still always recognize them as the people that made sure I wasn't homeless at 18. With that being said, though, living with your friend is so different, and I think it can honestly be the thing that makes or breaks a friendship. Like, I don't think some friendships can come back after living together. Maybe that's a hot take, but I just feel like you see that person differently. You see more than just their quirks, but you see how they live, their hygiene, you see how they keep a home, you see how they do things differently. And doing things differently isn't bad, but, like, if that's not how you want to run your home, like, it made it a very weird power dynamic of it being our house, and she was living there, and, you know, she wasn't paying a lot of rent, but, like, the rent is what we set, so that's not even the point. But the point is that there was a lot of emotion associated with her moving in and rekindling that friendship, and I really thought that it was going to go back to exactly the way it was before, you know, like, the friendship breakup that had happened a year ago. And I want to say, like, it kind of did. Like, there was moments of, like, dang, this feels like we never skipped a beat. It felt great. But there was, like, this always, like, looming energy of, yeah, I don't really, like, fuck with you like that. Like, there was always this, like, I don't know, like, there was, like, this weird, like, I'm gonna be honest, it felt like a competition. It felt very competitive. It felt like we were, like, it felt like she was always trying to, like, one-up me in a really weird way. And when it came to, like, relationships, the type of people she would date, like, the type of relationships she would then be in, the type of jobs she went out, the type of people she would, like, try to be friends with. Like, I would try and, like, get with a friend. Like, I would try to make a friend, and then she would, like, try to make that exact same friend and try to, like, trauma bond with them. And then I'd be like, okay, well, I'm trying to like not be around you, so I'm gonna like fall more into God and more into this. And like I really spent a lot of time doing hot girl walks, and it was like I was in the gym constantly. And then she would like trauma bond with this person, and then they would be friends, but then like I felt like then they like, I don't know, I don't know. That's that. But I just feel like then it would be weird, and then they wouldn't hang out, or like they wouldn't really like get along, and then it like, I don't know. It's just weird. Just me as an audience member, you know? But that's my silk press, by the way. That is the thing. I'm just gonna go and style it really quickly, but that's pretty much all I'm doing. Maybe I should put in curls. Should I put in curls? We can put in quick curls. I'm putting quick curls. I think. Oh my gosh, it's not even on. I literally was wondering why the flat iron wasn't curling, and it wasn't even on. Oh my God. It's okay. The one thing I do really like about the Paul Mitchell Pro Tools is this heats up so quick. Like, you can literally watch it heat up. There was just a lot of weird power energy going on in the friendship, and then eventually things just like weren't the same anymore. She ended up moving out and just kind of like leaving a note, which like I just thought was so weird because we were supposed to be like best friends and everything. Like, I took you on like luxury like hotel trips with me. Like, there was a lot of things that just like, it was weird how it ended. And then we really didn't talk for like a year and a half. I did not think that I was gonna get invited to her birthday party. I did not. So there was just a lot of growth that we both had to do. And what I really want to talk about that I feel like nobody really talks about is the feeling of lonely during that time. So I have felt loneliness in a bunch of different ways. I felt loneliness by myself. I have felt loneliness in a room of 100 people. I have felt loneliness in a room of 5 people, and it doesn't change how it kind of feels. But I think the worst feeling was feeling lonely with myself, and that's something that I had to really learn. And at first I thought it was going to be the most horrible experience, because I was like, because I didn't like myself, and that's a whole different topic that we'll get into, and maybe we'll talk about that next week in the self-love diaries. But I didn't love myself, and I was trying to find somebody that loved me so much, but I kept attracting people that didn't love themselves. So like, how could they love me if they didn't even love them? Like, that's not fair. You know, it's not fair to ask somebody to love you outside of the capacity that they can love themselves. And I feel like when I learned that, I was like, dang, I feel so alone within myself. Like, of course I'm going to feel alone with other people, because one, I don't even know myself. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I don't like. Like, how am I supposed to expect somebody to know me so well, and I barely even know myself? So I took, I think it was like 90 days. I think I took like 3 months of just like being by myself, and it was incredible. I literally made a playlist for it. I think I still have the playlist on my Spotify. If I have it, I'll put it right here. But I think it was like the 90 days of self-discovery. And I think I even like ended up TikToking it. Like, I think it was like a whole series that I ended up doing, honestly. And I'm gonna tell you, it was the best thing that I ever did for myself. It was, the best thing I ever did for me. I really think that song is actually on there. That's so funny. But I took basically the rest of the summer, because I took like a whole summer and until like August, September, and I basically like learned who I was, what I liked, what I didn't like, and realized I don't like drinking. That was something that I learned, that I actually didn't like going to the club all the time. I actually really did not like being around all the loud music, it was definitely something that like just didn't fit my vibe anymore. Like I was getting older and it just wasn't a thing for me. I enjoyed being home before 10 o'clock, to be honest. Like, and if I was gonna be out past 10 o'clock, it had to make sense. And if it didn't make sense to me or the lifestyle I wanted to live and was choosing to live and all these other things, like, I didn't want to be a part of it. Like, I didn't want to be associated with somebody who, like, was cheating on their partner. I didn't want to be, like, associated with anybody who was, like, overly promiscuous. Like, that's just something that, like, I didn't want to be around. And that's no shade to that person, because, like, it's your life, it's your journey. God is gonna meet you where you're at. That doesn't mean that I have to meet you where you're at, though. And that was a lesson I had to learn too, because, like, there's a point of meeting people where they're at, and then there's also a point of enabling people. And I want to talk about that more, you know, maybe in a different vlog or maybe in like a podcast episode, because I have definitely enabled people and I have definitely been enabled, and I just feel like it's something that sometimes people don't even do, like, realizing it. So I'm so glad we're almost done, guys. I'm glad we decided to put the curls in, though. To be honest, I feel like it just makes it look more put together than just straight, you know? So yes, it was lonely, and it was definitely something that I had to come to terms with, but I romanticized it. I vlogged it. I had like little TikTok moments with it, and I learned a lot. I did. And I highly, highly recommend, if you have gone through this summer and you have felt like, I feel like I'm the butt of all my friends' jokes. I feel like these girls don't really see who I am or see the value that I bring to the friendship. I feel like I'm always a last minute thought. I feel like not even feel like, sometimes it's just really in your face. Sometimes you really just see, like, I have all my friends on like Find Me or like Snap Maps, and you see all your friends are together on Snap Maps, but they told you that they weren't hanging out. Yeah, I've had that happen. So it's those moments, you know. So if that is kind of where you're at and you're like, Nikki, how are you in my head right now? How do you know what's going on in my life? Because I've been there, sweet pea, and it's okay. Like, it happens, you know. Like, codependency problems are real. Abandonment issues are real. Like, it happens. So, like, don't beat yourself up for it. One, do not do that, because it's not your fault. And there are things, don't get me wrong, there are things in all of these friendships that I have had, and even more that I really didn't discuss, that are toxic, that I did learn something from. Because that's the thing, is like, God is going to do everything for his good, truly. And that includes toxic friendships and toxic relationships. Like, there is a lot of things that I can say that I learned from this person and a lot of other people. Like, I've learned, like, what it means to be truly confident within yourself. I've learned, like, how to play different card games. I've learned, sorry, that piece was like giving me trouble. I have learned the importance of finding out who you are. I've learned to have follow through from some people. I've definitely learned little things. Now, I do, like I said, God uses everything for his good, right? There are other ways that I feel like I could have learned these things, but I'm never going to fault me for the way that I learned things and fault my past self, because she made those mistakes. She was friends with those people, but it also gave me the mindset that I do have now. And I don't know what kind of person I would be if I was never friends with certain people. Like, God places everybody in your life for a reason. It's either for a blessing or a lesson. And I really, really believe that. And yeah, hold on. I need the re-section, so give me a second. So if you're going through this and you're just like, Nikki, how do you know? I know because I've been there, and I just want you to know that you're not crazy. You're not too much. It is that deep, okay? Because it's always that deep with us, period, okay? We are not the type of society where it's not that deep. It's always that deep in the Sweet Pea Society. And yeah, you're like, what you're going through is normal. It's growth. It's going to happen. And there's nothing like wrong with you. Like you're okay. I promise you're okay. But are you going to be okay keeping yourself small for these people? You know what I mean? Like, are you really going to be okay with that? And if you're watching this video and if you stayed this long, I know you're not okay with it. I know you're not okay with it. So I suggest you start putting you first. Hold on. This is like the part that I actually have to pay attention to. It's always this side that gives me so much more trouble. Give me 1 second. Oh, like I was saying, you're not crazy, you're not alone, and you're not like, you're not too much. You're not. And if this is kind of sounding like you and you want to make a change, I highly recommend you go ahead and follow me on Instagram for daily motivation. And then I also want you to go and visit the link in my bio. Inside that link, it's nothing you have to purchase, okay? I don't want you guys to have to worry about purchasing anything on this self-care journey right now. I want you to focus on you. And especially with this economy, no. I want you to focus on you. And inside of there, you are going to find a self-care, you're gonna find a couple things actually. You're gonna find a self-care workbook that you can work on. It's gonna have journal prompts in it. It's going to have self-care bingo, so you can play a little competitive game with yourself for my competitive girlies. There is going to be like mood boards in there. Like it's really for you to go ahead and self-discover yourself, find self-love for yourself. You can print it out if you want, or you can do it digitally and download it digitally. That's an option as well. And then you can go ahead and like put it in your files or whatever, and then go ahead and change it with like an iPad pencil if you want to do it that way. If you're kind of like, Nikki, I don't know about a self workbook, like that seems like a lot. Like I'm not very all or nothing. Like the self workbook, that's for the all or nothing sweet peas. That is for like, you're right, I need to leave these toxic. Like if you're ready to do it now and you need the directions on how the rest of your summer needs to go, it is in there. There's a habit tracker in there. Like that is for the sweet peas that are ready to go. Now, if you're like, I still want to have fun this summer, I don't know if like I need to cut all these toxic habits, but I still want to show myself some love. You're right. Maybe I do need to pour into myself a little bit more. Maybe that's where I've been missing it. Go ahead into the link in my bio and make sure that you go ahead and download the Sweet Pea bingo card. Now it's different than the bingo card that's inside of the self-care workbook. So I did create 2 separate bingo cards. So if you've already downloaded the self-care workbook, then you can go ahead and download the bingo card as well. If you want a little bit of an extra challenge this summer, download that as well. And then that'll give you 2 different bingo cards to fill out. And I challenge you guys to try to get a blackout. Like if you don't know, you can get bingo obviously up and down, diagonal, and across. And then you can do a blackout. Blackout bingo is when you get your entire card filled. And it almost kind of gives like a summer bucket list kind of vibe. So if you're also looking for just like a whole little like cute little self-care summer bucket list, I highly recommend it for that as well. But yeah, let this be the start of your self-love summer. Let this be the start of you putting yourself first. Let this be the start of I'm not falling for toxic friend propaganda. We're not doing it. Like you matter. You matter, and the people that are for you are going to always be for you. And it might be lonely, and it might take time, but I promise you, I promise that it will be worth it in the end. It is going to be so worth all the waiting, all the praying. Like, I constantly tell my close friends, like the ones who know, they know, like they know that they are God sent for me. I tell them constantly. I tell them that they are answered prayer. Like, I give them their flowers in real time because I know that they deserve it. And I know that God knows that I'm that kind of person, and he wouldn't put me in people's lives that he didn't think deserved to get their flowers in real time. So what would I be doing disobeying God? Come on. Come on now. Come on now. What I'm not is a disobedient child. Period. Okay, and look at the hair, guys. Look at that. We did some real-time talk. I need a headband. I already know. I'm such a headband girly. I love a good headband. Love a good headband. And it doesn't even have to be like a bejeweled one or anything. Like these sport bands. Oh. Because tell me why. It just pushes up my hair the way that I like it. The other thing I love is a pair of sunglasses as a headband. Oh, eats every time. Eats down. But yeah, and we were doing with her. So we did a little self-care today. We put ourselves together. We took a shower and we talked about toxic friendships. If this is your vibe, if you want to have another vibe with me, make sure you go ahead and hit that bell because this is the end of the video. Wasn't that so easy? It was so easy. It was so much fun. We really got to chit chat with one another. And I think that you are about to have the best self-care, self-love summer. I think you're about to put yourself first, and this is your sign to go ahead and do that. Don't forget to show yourself some love this week and know that I love you, but most importantly, God loves you. But the most important person is that you love you. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.